it's Aaron, the Metal Theologian. So, got a topic. It was actually suggested in sort of semi-roundabout way, but it was suggested by Mr. Nico Malcolm, who I don't think enough of you are subscribed to because his channel is excellent. And this guy, if you're into like 70s shit, he shows some badass records. Like if you're into like the Europrog shit and that, he really shows some good shit. So I'm trying to remember the link below, just to give you the idea. But very good channel, and I didn't realize he had a channel for a long time, quite honestly. I became aware of him because he consistently commented on my stuff, and eventually I clicked his name and went, oh my god. So anyway, he knows his shit, but he was really interested in a Peruvian record that I showed in a really early video that he went back and watched, like one that I did on like 5 different records from different places around the world. So I said I could do some like from other places too, or you know, more like focus in on that, and he said, yeah, he'd be into seeing it. So here we go. We talked about Peru, but I'm actually going to do Mexico because I think Mexico is just criminally underrated. Usually when I tell people about like Mexican bands, they're like, oh, like mariachi shit. And I'm like, no, not like fucking mariachi shit, like fucking hard rock, you know? It's like everything else. You know, not that there's anything wrong with mariachi music, by the way. I mean, living in California for so long, I heard plenty of it, and I've got no beef with that shit, you know? But anyway, before we get into that, 2 things. One of them is going to be a drink. The other one, though, is I'm going to ride this a little bit more. But since people like complain about records that they got, and I'm like trying to like encourage people to not get upset about that sort of thing. This is one where I was disappointed with the condition. It just came in today, and it's seam split on the top and the bottom. But you know, and look, that even has like a tear, and I knew there was a tear, but like I didn't realize the whole thing was going to be gashed out. You know something though? This is a great record. I'm enjoying it more than I expected to. I mean, I like the second Abattoir, but I've never sat down with this one before. This is fantastic, this record. So you know something? You win some, you lose some. Would it have been nice if it were in better shape, if it had come to me pristine, if it were more like a VG Plus? Yeah, it would be great. But you know something? I don't care. I got this record to play it and to enjoy it, and not to sit here and like seal it in a fucking shrine or something. So it has a couple seam splits. Yeah, it's a little bit of a bummer, but guess how much sleep I'm gonna lose over that? That much right there. Of course, I can sleep through just about anything. All right, I found Caleb's Cola, which I had never seen before, pretty recently. It's a little suspicious because it only has 110 calories per bottle. Although this is an 8 ounce, no, it's a 10 ounce bottle. If it looks a little bit small, it's because it is. It's 10 ounces instead of the usual 12 that you get in these glass ones. It says sparkling water, cane sugar, and cola nut extract. Now I actually sort of cheated because I did have one of these this morning, but I just brushed my teeth, so I didn't really get the taste of it. I just tasted the fucking like toothpaste and something kind of sweet underneath it. So I'm basically trying this cold. It says on the back, certified fair trade, manufactured by Caleb's Cola in Rivera Beach, Florida. Call us Cola Obsessed. We're a passionate group of cola lovers who came together to craft a unique cola from scratch using simple ingredients. A few hundred batches later, we love it. We hope you do too. So it's fair trade certified, and the ingredients are water, cane sugar, caramel color, phosphoric acid, natural flavor, sodium citrate, caffeine, gum arabic, citric acid, and cola nut extract. So that's kind of low on the list. But let's see. Spencer actually had this before and set my expectations really low. He had one he didn't like.
Yeah, I'll just say full disclosure, I had one of these earlier, and I was not much of a fan of it at all. It did not taste cola-y, and when I saw that cola was literally the last ingredient on the list, I was pretty disappointed. However, there might be
It smells nice. It doesn't smell strongly of cola. It's bouquet. I should call it that. If we're gonna smell it, we can't just call it the smell. We have to call it the bouquet. So its bouquet is cola-y. You can smell that it's real sugar.
Now, for the record, this might be unfair because someone, for once, did not check the date on these because he never run into issues. But these expired on July 13th of this year.
Yeah. So if it's not good, it might be because it's tasting like maggots and shit.
Yeah. Don't think I'll be able to focus on this. Yeah, I can't focus on it, look.
It doesn't matter. It's July 3rd of this year. It's pretty subtle, but this isn't bad at all. I mean, I tend to like more balls in my cola. Not literally. But like, you know, more sort of
Yeah.
like a heavy, like, cola, like, intensity. And, this is definitely light. But I think if you sit back and enjoy it for what it is, it's really not a bad soda at all.
I can certainly enjoy it. I just don't know that I'd classify it really as cola. I feel like this is closer. I feel like if you took the stuff we've had in the past, like I usually say Mr. Cola is the gold standard. I feel like this tastes a lot closer to flavored water with some cola in it.
But here's
than
the thing.
It does.
It's a real cola flavor in there, though. It's not like it tastes like fizzing water they just added a splash or something into. It tastes like it's heavy on the water, right? But it's like, but the cola flavor is genuine. The sweetness is like genuine sugar, and I feel like it's just a very mild cola that's still sincere in being mild, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It's just not like a grab you by the balls kind of soda. It's more like a sort of a very sort of gentle, relaxing soda that like your grandma would drink.
I don't know. I mean, it's low on everything.
Except water. Except it's low on that too, because it's only 10 fluid ounces.
No,
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go out of my way for this stuff.
No, it's 27 milligrams of caffeine in this stuff.
I don't know how that ranks. Is that a lot?
A Coke is 36 to 12, I think, so it's pretty close to that. A Mountain Dew is just about as high as it gets. It's something like in the 50s.
I remember that used to be number 2 after Jolt.
Yeah.
Was Mountain Dew.
I'm pretty sure it's number 1. Well, actually, no, because I think Surge might have taken Jolt Cola's place.
I think
It has
Jolt
a
was
lot
the
in it.
maximum.
It is, that's
legal
why I'm
limit.
saying. Well, yeah, but they're not around anymore, for the most part.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Caleb's Cola is pretty good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little bit of soda banter. So let's get into the records. All right, so pick sort of a cross section here. I might pull some out and pull them on. I'm going to try not to get this too long. We're probably already like 10 minutes in. But
We're at 7 minutes 40. And I can't come around to this soda, actually.
yeah,
But I just don't... It doesn't blow me away like some of them have.
all right. So this is El Amor, and yes, I'm going to throw this on. Because with El Amor, you think it's going to be sort of poppy and wussy, right? And there's some stuff like that I like. I'll tell you what I omitted from this list of Mexican bands. Was any like 60s stuff that was just like pure like hippie psych? Or anything that's just like purely psych or beat? And there's some really good Mexican stuff. And I actually, excuse me, I don't know very much of that stuff. There's lots and lots. But like, I really like The Survival. I really like Los Ovnis. I really like the Spiders. I was going to say the St. Thomas Pepper Smelter, but they're from Peru. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they're from Peru. But, El Taro de Mostaza. It's really good stuff, man. I even like Hernan Roch, but it's, but a lot of that stuff is more sort of 60s sounding. What I was kind of going for, you know, sort of in keeping with something that's a little bit more of a theme of this channel, is just more like the straight up hard rock. So, this record is a fake live record, okay? It says En Vivo. It's not En Vivo. It's pretty much En Studio con fake noises from a fake audience. But it's awesome. Unless we get a copyright hit on this. It's always the dumb shit. I actually got one. I'll show it next, who I got a copyright hit from. Because it's ridiculous. Listen to that fuzz.
I don't know what you're talking about. I think this audience is real.
Yeah.
It's been at a consistent something like 10% through the entire...
Listen to that riff. That's Ella Moore. These songs are long too. It's only 6 songs on the record. Mine's number 2 of 500. I just noticed that. It's kind of cool. Alright, so, oh shit, man, I have some bullshit mixed in here. What the hell did I do that for? I better hide that. That's a Crocus record. That's kind of embarrassing. Yeah, so for the copyright hit one, man, the one that I got was like a serious one. There's like a retroactive one, too. Was from this band. It was on their other record. I'm not going to play this because of that, because they can fuck off with that shit. But this is, La Revolución de Emiliano Zapata. And the first one just has a picture of Zapata on the cover, like, that's sort of like, not a silhouette, but like a black and white, like, drawing. And, it's awesome. These guys, though, I mean, look at that gatefold, dude. I mean, that's pretty much what it's about, you know what I mean? It's kind of easygoing, just really good songs. It's a really good guitar record, this one. Like, I'm not a big, like, guitar guy, but, like, people who are really into, like, guitar playing and that will get a lot out of this record. And this is one of those bands where even I dig it. Sort of like ZZ Top, too. You know, there's a lot of just straight guitar playing in ZZ Top, but I can still dig it. And, you know, it's actually notable these guys are from Mexico and ZZ Top is from Texas, so who knows what there might have been by cross-pollination. So, yeah, the titles on this are in Spanish, but they're actually sung in English. Like a lot of these, actually. But like this band, the band name's in Spanish, but they're singing in English, you know. So anyway, this is the second Revolución de Emiliano Zapata record called Hoy, and it's just as good as the first one. It's fantastic. Give it a very strong recommendation. Look, this is a low number, too. It's number 8. Alright. Look how rockin' this is, man. Alright, here's another one. Actually, one thing you're going to see a lot is this label right there, RAF. RAF was some kind of Mexican label. I don't really know much about them, who they were owned by or whatever. But there's a lot of good shit on RAF. In fact, one thing you see a lot is the series Hot Rock. Okay, now this one, La Onda put their thing over it, but this was a RAF originally, and La Onda's kind of questionable legitimacy. This group, Ciruela, fantastic hard rock group. Look at those guys, man. I mean, what do you think this is going to sound like? I'll give you a hint. It's not fucking mariachi shit. These guys are like balls out. Look at that mustache. They live up to that mustache. And look at the fucking face paint on this guy. They live up to that, too, man. There's some hard rockin' good shit.
I think that might even be trading card level.
Yeah. So let me move on to this one, though, because here's another RAF one. This band, this isn't their, I think they're like their third record or something. This is my personal favorite. This is Three Souls in My Mind. And yeah, that's actually the name if you see that. And this is Que Rico Diablo. And I'm going to throw this on for a minute. I'm really tempted to put on La Droga Mescalina, because that might be my favorite song, but the first one is the very first track on here. The title track is the one that I always associate with them. Has this heavy saxophone thing going on, and it just grabs you instantly. So I kind of feel like I've got to start us off with that one. So let's sample Three Souls in My Mind for a second here. You know, as soon as we finish this video, I'm going to find some other, like, essential record that, like, I should have included. Like, oh, shit, this is, like, the best thing out of Mexico. Except, I think I do have my favorites here. Excuse me. I'm going to talk about some of these for longer than others. Check out that label, man. It's kind of cool. La Droga. And Diablo. Yeah, these guys, their first record I also have, and it's a lot more sort of bluesy. It took me longer to get into than this one, actually, for that reason. This one's kind of more rock and roll-y, actually, as far as the vibe goes. But the earlier ones are more sort of bluesy, and I don't want to say thoughtful, because that makes this one sound stupid, but I suppose this one is a little bit stupid, and stupid is something I generally value in my rock and roll, so listen to this. Man, you can't argue with that. Jesus. All right. Let's show it off again. That's Querico Diablo. That's one of these guys. This band is really kind of political. These guys started out as a beat band. They were actually, this is a great example. I've talked before about how like a singular name is metal and a plural name is punk. That kind of goes for like hard rock and like psych too, or like beat stuff. So like this band was like a beat band, like more of sort of a psych band. And they were called Los Antorchas, or Las Antorchas, whatever the proper thing is. Then they shortened their name, they took the off of it, right? And shortened it to just Antorcha, and they became heavier. This record is pretty rockin'. It's a very garagey, this one. And there are lots of sort of long-spoken parts, because, you know, like I said, they were really political, and they were really sort of, you know, they were trying to like make a difference, or you know, they're idealistic, I suppose, or whatever. It's kind of over my head because my Spanish isn't that good, but it's cool stuff to listen to. And this particular record is actually a compilation of a bunch of EPs they did. They put out an LP called Anarquismo, and I would love to get my hands on a copy of that. You just seen if I've got it right. Yeah, there's just a little picture of it right there, man. Anarquismo. If I can find that, man, I'll be happy. Although I have some other real goodies in here. So I can't, like, here's the thing, it would make me happy to find that, but I'm not going to pretend I'm unhappy with the shit that's here, so. Like, here's another goodie. This is actually one of the originals in the stack. Most of these are reissues, but this is a band called Renaissance. And, I mean, just look at that. There's the Hot Rock series. This is actually a sticker on this one. Look at that. It's just bonkers. And that's kind of what it sounds like. It's not quite that crazy, but it's heavy. It's very proggy. Like, you know how, like, in some of those bands, they'll play a flute, but they'll play it, like, heavy, like, sort of, like, spitting in it, you know? Like, making it buzz. There's a lot of that in here, but then there's some sort of happy songs, like, Listen to Me People is kind of like, you know, it's a little bit on the hippie side, but overall, man, fantastic record by Renaissance. So, again, a hard band to look for, because you can start Googling this band and you're going to find that ridiculous fucking British band, that like folky horse shit band, when these guys are the shit and those other guys suck. Let's see. Alright, here's another one. It's just a good rocker. I mean, I don't have a whole shit ton to say about this one, except to show you the cover and just say it's solid, it rocks. It's not the best in here, but I'll put this up against any other, like, I like this better than anything Thin Lizzy ever did. I like this better than anything, well, yeah, I pretty much like this better than anything Led Zeppelin ever did. So, neither of those being one of my favorite bands, right? But, yeah. So it's not as good as Deep Purple and rock, but just a really cool record. Easy, solid record to listen to, you know? Really enjoyable. This next one has a distinction of being the only record I own that has a drum solo in the very first song on the record. And that is El Ritual. And these guys are kind of bonkers too. Look at that logo. And these guys kind of dabbled in, I mean, I think it'd be a stretch to call them satanic. Raph, by the way. But these guys kind of, they went closer. I mean, the first song is called Satanas. Yeah, let me throw this on. Well, except I kind of want to throw on the next one, too. I'll throw on this one. So this El Ritual, I'll just mix it up a little bit, I guess, if I need to. So you got a real quick idea there about Three Souls in My Mind. So this is El Ritual. Gotta go for Lado 1 and not Lado 2. Although both Lados are just fucking fine by me. It's a little Spanish lesson for today, man. I use 2 prepositions and 1 noun. Well, alright. There we go. This is a long cut, so I don't know if we can get to the drum solo, but listen to that shit. It's all menacing.
I will caress your soul. And I will do my best for you not to know. Pestilence, war, that hunger, and my weapon in someone who understands.
I don't know if that's coming through at all. Like the intimidating spoken thing. But this is like 1970 or 71 or something like that. It's from fucking Mexico. And that is why you should never be satisfied with the shit that you hear on FM radio. Classic rock radio. I'm gonna let this run. We can talk about a couple more. If you want to get a Mexican prog rock record that's like as much like straight prog as I've ever heard out of Mexico, this is the record you want. It actually came out with a different cover as well. This is a later press. The other one just had some weird shit. This is Nuevo Mexico, or Mexico. I'm not sure you pronounce that properly, but lots of flute in this, lots of rock, and just like long songs, like involved song structures. But it's really listenable prog. You know, it's it comes off, even though this is like 74, 75 or something like that. This comes off like the sort of the more song-based prog, you know what I mean? Like some of the earlier stuff that was kind of bordered with psychedelic, where they were definitely kind of going in the prog direction, but it wasn't just like sidelong epics yet, you know? This is... fucking so good, man. Great record right here, though, too. I like El Ritual more myself. Alright, this is another very favorite of mine. The name, it's like a, yeah, it's a name you can barely pronounce, Nahuatl. Alright, and look at that. I mean, how could that not be good? First of all, you got the RAF vouching for it right there, right? Look at that. This, now, I'll tell you something, though, this record is like one of the reasons why I don't like bonus tracks. I had a tape of this from somebody, and it just had the original album on it. It has bonus tracks, and it has one at the end of each side. So the one at the end of side one breaks up the flow for me based on how I originally heard this. Both the bonus tracks are good. It's not that they're not good, it's that they break the flow of the thing, you know? Yeah, this whole record, though, is in Spanish, except for one song, which is like a pop song. So I don't know if that was their attempt at a radio hit or what the deal was with that, but, yeah, that's it. Actually, I'm going to throw this one on instead of Toncho Pilatos, so let me move on. Okay, this is another one that's like really sort of garagey and kind of, this is really hard to describe, this one. It's, maybe I'll just throw it for a minute. I keep going back and forth, you see. It's, it just has a weird sound, man. I mean, it's definitely rock, but it's kind of like they're trying something a little bit different on each song. And like a lot of these, it's a short record. It's about 35 minutes. You know, each side is over before you know it. And that's a good thing, you know, because it leaves you wanting more. I mean, I never object to a record being too short, you know. I heard something recently where, like, after they finished cutting Rain and Blood, the guys from Slayer, like, listened to it again, and they were like, shit, man, this thing isn't even a half hour long. Can we really call this an LP? And they, like, discussed, and they were like, oh, the hell with it, man. That's the fucking record. That's it. No wasted notes. We're set, you know. And amen to that, man. It's one of the greatest records of all time, right? So, what are you going to do? This is Toncho Pilatos. Grabado in Mexico. It's actually a Polydor, this one. It's kind of a trip. Totally dated right there, right? With this cover, man, I saw this and I was like, yeah, I pretty much need that. You hear this though? It's not that heavy, but it's weird. And it's not self-consciously weird, it's like naturally weird somehow. Alright, this next band I'm not going to play. It's actually the last one that I'm featuring, and they're probably the first ones you should check out, because these is probably the biggest band of the lot. This is Los Dug Dugs. Okay? These guys, they actually had a couple of hits. There's a reissue on Ciruela Electrica. And actually, it looks like it's licensed from BMG. So a lot of the shit, these guys were out on RCA in Mexico. It's funny, because some of the shit was on big labels, but got no distribution outside of Mexico. La Revolución de Emiliano Zapata was on Polydor too. Anyway, these guys, I guess it was kind of popular to sing, like most of the bands sung in Spanish at the end of the 60s. So when these guys cut their first record, they sang it in English. Then, like, the band started singing in English, they were like, fuck it, we're going to sing in Spanish then. So they're kind of contrary in that way. This one, for my money, is their most fully realized record. Their first one is also fantastic. This band was consistently great. I mean, they kind of went downhill a little bit after this record, but I never heard anything about theirs where I was like, oh man, that's depressing that they sink so far, you know what I mean? These guys were good. Just solid stuff, really good songwriting. I almost think of these guys as like the Mexican Beatles, because even though they were kind of crazier than the Beatles, and they were probably taking harder drugs, they had some of that pop sensibility, you know what I mean? The hooks were really good, and the songs were really catchy, and the whole thing is just really listenable, but just with enough more edge that it holds my attention longer than, say, the Beatles do, you know? See that violin? What's that doing in there? It's like a straight-up rock riff, but what's that thing doing? An echo on the vocals? And he's singing in Spanish too, which is always a plus as far as I'm concerned. First of all, because I don't give a shit what they're saying. But second of all, because I don't know, it just seems more sort of authentic somehow. Not that I'll begrudge a band for even half a second for singing in English. Because God knows, there are tons of great bands from non-English speaking countries that sing in English. Alright, how are we doing on time anyway? Like a half hour probably. Spencer's zoning out.
27 minutes.
Yeah. Alright, so we're going to give you a quick sample of Nahuatl, and then we're going to let it go. Because all you have to hear is this riff, and you'll be sold on this one. Now, some of the other songs on this are a lot sort of hookier than this first song, but I love every song on this record, just to be absolutely clear. Tell me that isn't the heaviest fucking thing you've heard today. How can you argue with that, man? This is just fucking fantastic, man. And who is it? Some nobodies from Mexico. What are they? It never, you know something? Not only do I not know their names, it never even occurred to me to look at what their names were. It's a three-piece. They look awesome. That's all I want to know, you know? Ricardo Ochoa, Carlos Bozo, and Ramon Torres. That's who it is. If any of you is watching, thank you for making this fucking genius record, man, because it's one of the greatest goddamn things I've heard in my life. Alright, so good luck, man. Happy hunting. This is some good shit. I don't know how easy it is to get now. I kind of happened to get into this stuff at a moment in time when a lot of it was getting reissued, so I sort of lucked into a lot of this stuff. But man, there's so much good shit that, like I said, I do a whole video and I could do another half hour on Mexico, no problem. One of these days, maybe next time Nico Malcolm reminds me, I'll do a Peru one and maybe an Argentina one, because those are the big three Spanish-speaking countries on this hemisphere that were making great records. So you'd think there'd be more from, like, I mean, Chile, I guess, was just too fucked up with Pinochet and all that. It was just too, like, heavily repressed. And, like, Colombia, I mean, they have their own problems and that. You'd expect more from, like, Venezuela, though, and you'd expect a lot more than I ever found in Brazil. I mean, not that they speak Spanish, but you know what I'm talking about. So, it's kind of hit and miss with a lot of those places, though. Mexico, Peru, and Argentina is where it's at. And I guess that's a topic to be continued at a future date, because it's fucking one well worth discussing. So I hope you dug the Mexican shit. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.